G'day guys, Mackie with the Outer Circle, and today I want to take a moment to look at recasts. Now, it's a very touchy subject, I understand this, but we're not going to cover our fucking heads, stick them in the sand, and pretend it doesn't exist. It's out there. We all know it's out there, right? And I want to look at some of the reasons why people are recasting and what the pros and cons for it are, because there are pros and cons to it. Just like anything. So, first things first. Basic flat currency conversions, right? If you're an Australian, recasting is a lot easier than going to Games Workshop. I know a lot of people whose whole armies are made of recasts. Me personally, I have very, very little recast stuff. Most of it is stuff I bought off other people. Usually for bits. So, for example, my 8,000 points of Thousand Suns, all legit Forge World, and it fucking hurt my pocket. Now, here we have Games Workshop's UK page for the Age of Sigmar new releases. We have models like Slambo here, we have Vanguard Paladors, Lord Aquila, blah blah blah. Let's look at Slambo, right? He's a pretty cool looking model, retro style. I like the look of him, I think the name is arse. He costs 40 Australian dollars. Alright, let's see what 40 Australian dollars is. That's 24 British pounds. Well, hang on a minute, the British get him for 15. Well, what's 15 British pounds? Oh, 24. So, we have to pay 15 more dollars. Oh, hang on, let me do some maths here. Oh, and I do happen to have a calculator handy, so let's see. So, 24 divided by 40.6. So that's 60%. So we're paying a 40% increased cost here in Australia for the exact same model. Why? Why the fuck are we paying more for the same fucking model? Oh, it's import taxes, this, that. No, there's no import taxes on that are 40%. No country in the world has a 40% import tariff on a product. Going in, coming in, going out, all that kind of thing. The most I've ever seen is a 10% GST here in Australia. A 10% GST. Right? If that model came into Australia at $24, right, it would cost $26. $26.40, something around there, right? So, there's no reason why this model should be double the cost. Well, or just under double the cost, right? Lord Aquila, $70 Australian. Lord Aquila, £25 in Britain. Let's see what that is. So, £25 in Britain, 40 Australian dollars. 70 Australian dollars is 43 British pounds. That is not 43 British pounds. So, step one, right? Step one in any free market, right? Any capitalist society is, if it's the same product and it's cheaper or near enough the same product, people vote with their money, right? People have the choice between an iPhone and a Samsung Galaxy. Well, some people are like, oh, iPhone's the best thing ever. And other people are like, I love phones that explode. So, these people have to pick, which product do I want? Which product do I want? Well, at the end of the day, they'll probably pick the one that suits their wallet best and their plans best, right? Unless they're a rabid fanboy. And only a rabid fanboy is going to turn around and say that this pricing structure is legit. Vanguard Paladors and Lord Aquila, £95. Let's see. £95, that's 154 Australian dollars. They're selling it for 260. So they're selling it for $100 more. They're selling it for $110, $112 more, right? So, congratulations to Games Workshop on effectively pricing themselves out of the market here, because clearly the best way to go, if you're shopping on value alone, would be a recaster. I'm not condoning recasters here, I have to point out. Right? I'm just saying, you did this to yourselves. Right? That's why the recast market is so low for many other miniature companies. Not because they don't have great products that people want to buy, right? It's because companies like, I don't know, Secret Weapon Miniatures make tons of resin bases. I pretty much never see their bases being sold by recasters. And you know why? Because their bases are really fucking good value. Something I bought from Games Workshop, right, was a set of bases. I know, that sounds really silly, right? Bases. What would you want bases for? Well, let's go have a look here. Round bases. 32mm round bases. 100 pack, $60. When 32mm bases first came out, they were very hard to acquire. They were just sold out everywhere. I went on to a website in China. I bought 200 bases for $20 US. They came to me, exact same plastic, exact same material, Games Workshop copyright logo and everything on the bases. Couldn't believe it. $20 American. Why'd I go to China? Games Workshop was sold out of this really basic product within a week of launching it. You think something like this, a 32mm base, it's just a single piece injection molded plastic and literally pumped out by the thousands, would be something you would find hard to run out of, but apparently very fucking easy. So I went to an aftermarket seller and bought a bunch of 32mm bases, and I don't care. I got twice the amount of bases for 1/3 of the cost. Why would I give a shit? And again, it's not an inferior product, it's the exact same product. Now, keeping this in mind, this is all a result of free market capitalism, blah, 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 blah. Let's talk about the actual politics behind the way Games Workshop's gone with their models. You see, for years now, they've been dropping the number of models in the boxes and yet somehow increasing the prices of the boxes. They've made the occasional fix, I would like to add, things like the blue horrors, stuff like that, which is great, but look at Imperial Guard. They halved the number of models in a box and doubled the cost of it. You know, it was bad enough back when they dropped blisters down from 4 models in a blister down to 3 models in a blister for the same cost, so you had to buy 4 blisters instead of 3 to make the same size squad. That was painful, especially when there were squads of minimum 10, and so 3 blisters only got you 9. Yeah, dick move. But that again, it's another bit of politics. What we've got here is Games Workshop's site, right? It costs a fortune. There's no getting around it, especially if you're into The Hobbit. The Hobbit stuff is so fucking overpriced. Just look at the Thorin's Company, right? Let's go. If you want to buy Thorin's Company, in fact, not Thorin's Company, we want to go, let's just go Erebor Reclaimed. There we go. If I want to buy just 13 Dwarves and The Hobbit, 330 Australian dollars. I wonder what that same kit costs in England. £118. Let's see what £118 is. I reckon it's going to be less than... Oh, look. That's, what, $120 cheaper? No, more, $140 cheaper. So, obviously, if you're an Australian, there's no reason why you want to buy from England. And I don't want to hear any cunt turn around and say, oh, it's because of taxes. No. No. It's just blatant price gouging. Blatantly. Games Workshop can afford to sell nearly every other country in the world with hardly any markup, right, in comparison to one another. But for some reason it comes to Australia and they want to kick you in the dick? I don't think so. Right? So we're encouraged straight off the bat to say fuck you, because we have no customer loyalty to companies that are going to do that to us. Right? So if you want to call it illegal or immoral or things like that, why is it immoral? There is nothing immoral about being pissed off at a company, and that is the situation that we're in here in Australia. People are pissed off at Games Workshop. I've been to events where whole armies have been recasts. People don't give a shit either. I've seen people who work for Games Workshop just sort of see it at events and go, yeah, well, fuck, there's not much I can do about it. Because there isn't. There's nothing they can do about it. Hasn't been stolen. People like to say, oh, recasting is theft. It's not theft, you've made a copy. Right? the original owner still has their product. There's also an inverse reaction here. If you have a person who buys a recast army because they couldn't afford to get into the hobby, and believe me, at prices like this, yeah, there are people who can struggle to get into the hobby. Now, if someone goes out and buys an army and they buy just one model legit from Games Workshop, that's a model that Games Workshop never would have sold that they've now sold. And ironically, it's thanks to the recasters. Now, two last little points here. The first one is out of production miniatures. Sometimes the only way to get an out of production miniature is to go to a recaster. I am 110% for this. I don't care if it gets you into trouble or not. Because frankly, you want to buy the legit product, you simply cannot. This is an extensive problem with the Hobbit Lord of the Rings range. Like, if I want to go, I don't know, let's say I want to go and collect Isildur and Númenórean men, right? I'll go, oh, Númenor. Oh, shit. No Isildur. No Elendil. No mounted Isildur. Oh, there's no Gondorian bowmen. They're only warriors with spears and warriors with swords. And if I want the ones with swords, I have to buy them with elves. Well, that's shit. And that's all over the place. Arnor, right? Melbeth the Seer? Nope. Captain of Arnor? Nope. Banner of Arnor? Nope. Arvedui, the last king of Arnor? Nope. Arathorn, father of Aragorn? Nope. So, yeah. Only way to get these models, eBay or Recaster. Should a person deserve to miss out on a product because it's no longer made? I don't think so. Because frankly, it was money the company was never going to get, so who cares if it's pirated at this point? Right? And I don't think pirate's the right term for it either, to be honest. But if Games Workshop's not making the product, they've got no interest in making the product, why should it matter to them if someone else gets the product somehow? They're not losing money because they're not attempting to get the money in the first place. I mean, please stop me if I'm wrong with this concept. And last point to cover off on is quality. People like to say that the quality is low coming from out of China. Frankly, no, it's not. I have seen a few recasts. There are some bad ones out there. There are also casts out there that put Forge Worlds to shame, and often the customer service, ironically, is better by all reports than from Forge World. So you have a perfect storm here of why people buy recasts. You have models that are literally half the price, if not only a third of the price of what Games Workshop is selling them for. You have companies that give you good customer service, give you the parts, make sure the quality control is there. And lastly, they provide models that you might not be able to acquire. This is especially true for things like event-only models that Forge World seems to love doing and Games Workshop loves doing that you can only get from going to Warhammer World. I've approached them on that subject before and they said, just come over to Warhammer World and you can get one. And it's like, well, I live in Australia. That's 13,500 kilometres away from Warhammer World. How would you like me to come there? Maybe via the warp? Maybe I can blast myself up into the upper atmosphere and slingshot around the Earth, try to nail it on the plummet down? No? Yeah. Look, end of the day, they're creating a luxury product and people want it. It's supply and demand. If the demand is there and the supplier wants to fuck people around, people are gonna fuck back. They always have. They always will. Leave all your angry comments below about how recasts are defrauding Games Workshop of their rightfully earned fucking money when they're charging Australians 40 to 60% more for the same fucking product. And, yeah, I'll try and meet you all in the comments. See you next time.